Good afternoon. What is a warm, bright and sunny day? It is Friday the 11th of August. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to continue unboxing. And what I'm going to pull out is this sheaf of fanzines, issues of the Phylactery, published by Planet X Games and written by Levy Coombs. It's an old-style Renaissance fanzine suitable for any retroclone. So I managed to pick these up at UK Games Expo because they're quite difficult to get hold of here in the UK. But a trader had hold of them, so I grabbed them whilst I could. And this is issue number 3, with a very nice parody of the cover of X-Men's comics, I think the Days of Future Past story, which had all the X-Men sort of like on like a wanted poster with the sort of like all crossed out and dead sort of thing. So open up issue 3. We have a table of contents and a discussion of basically the designers' influences. Primarily, I think it's going to be. Let's have a look. Can I see it? It's Frank and Pagan. I'm going to read through this. Well, it's primarily talking about Fangoria, Starlog, famous monsters of Filmland, and so on. Before we get into basically those are his influences. Before we get into the first of the issues, it issues content, which is the secret history of the grandfather assassins. And we've got, actually, this is quite a. I'm looking at this. So starting there, so that's half of them, basically about a third of a page, 2 pages there. Ending there, and that's basically you've got three pages or so on, plus illustrations. It's probably one of the longest articles I've seen in any of the issues of Phylactery that isn't a scenario. Not saying that's not necessarily a bad thing. And then we have alternate death blows for the high level monk. Essentially for the retroclone that does involve monks. Whether that's your version of your copy of Advanced Labyrinth, or essentially the Advanced Classes books for Old School Essentials. Then we have Gods, the Fallen and Forsaken, and various forgotten gods, which you can populate your world with. Have their temples sort of standing there, sort of like left partially ruined or occupied even by other faiths. So you've got several different there. So you've got essentially descriptions and the lore about them. So that makes them quite interesting and easy to use in your campaign. More secrets than the Lich's Crypt. Sorcerer's items of power, both dread and fantastic. So detailed magical items. And also nicely illustrated, as you can see. I mean, what I really like, these are all really nicely illustrated for a fanzine. And you've got several different items in, the Stormbellow Horn has its own Dark Claw there, as well as actually sort of like it's gaming mechanics. Doom Kelp is something growing in the wild. Hex Dust is favours by witches, haggis, and fell priestess of the Doom Goddess. It's a magical power that can be sprinkled or flung into the air to produce its effects. All creatures within a 30-foot radius immediately stricken by malediction of doom, bestowing a -1 penalty to all saving throws. And then we have secret organisations and diabolical cults. You always want more of those because they're a ready-made enemy. And then the Heresy of the Void, and given quite a lot of detail. A good page or so is enough to get started on this. Stray Druids of Uskovar. So this issue feels a bit more open, sort of a little less. Basically more artwork, less content, if you know what I mean, but not necessarily to the issue's detriment. It makes for a nicer looking fanzine. Evil books and sorcerer's tomes, 3 evil sorceries, and the tableau of the gibbering more. And you always have sort of like the whole thing about a book with a mouth on it, whether that's going to be talking or gibbering or gnawing and so on. Scroll of the 9 Despairs. It's going to be fun to read, I bet. We have an NPC, Naga Bob, veteran adventurer. And Saint Cernus the Fallen. So, you know, yeah, former human paladin, now a death knight. Yep, dressed like that. You're not dressing for fun. The Grand Heresy of Chernobog, priest liches driven by hate. This continues the treatment of the Grand Heresy of Chernobog, detailed in previous issues. Let's see if I can find that. No, I can't. But it has been covered before, I believe. It certainly is familiar. I could be wrong. Anyway, so back to the issue. It certainly does feel familiar. Where are we? So yeah. We have a cult, and its members, sample literally for the Grand Heresy of Chernobog. Then we have the Cursed Barrow of Whispering Skulls, a long-forgotten barrow tomb for the players to investigate, plunder, and explore. And it really just amounts to 4 locations, but it's a nice, neat little location. And you know that runs to what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages for just 4 locations. That's really quite a detailed little location. You know that's going to keep a gaming group occupied for definitely a session or 2, I would imagine. Myths and Legends, Straight Arrow Groundhouse, the Kaltarag, the Graveyard of Dragons. And this kind of plays back to the whole the idea, sort of like the elephant's graveyard, where all the elephants go to die, you know, and trying to explain why they did it, and taking it one step, you know, one step higher, and even that further than that is, you know, a graveyard of dragons where they all go to die, and what can be plundered there, what can be found there. Here be monsters, all monsters, so like the Blight Hag and the Kiss, the Polyp. Murderous Idol, which more troll, because you're almost going to never have enough monsters in your the retroclone of your choice, you know, because you're always going to want sort of like new and interesting foes for your player characters to face. So yeah, that's the Phylactery issue number 3, published by Planet X Games. It feels like it's a much kind of it's not necessarily a slimmer issue, but it's a less concentrated and sort of like content-rich issue. This sort of essentially, it's got more artwork, less content. I don't think, as I say, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But overall, nice looking little fanzines. Right, anyway, so hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And of course, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so. In this case, a fanzine, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.